Hey guys, this is me, Rebecca. Welcome back to my channel. So today I want to talk about self-love with you. So first of all, for me it took a long time to define what self-love was for me. I found that for many people it sounded like it's one destination, and when you found that spot, it's always going to stay with you. And what I found more is that it's a journey, and when you come to a level of loving yourself in a way, then you discover there's another level and another level, and there are always challenges in your way that give you the opportunity to learn to love yourself and your entirety even more. So for me, I found that one of the most important aspects for self-love is actually self-care. And self-care comes in many ways. Self-care comes in the way of making sure I sleep enough. And enough for me may be something entirely different than enough for you. You may need 12 hours of sleep a day, or you may need 4 hours of sleep a day to work well. So it's not a one size fits all solution. So you have to know what your body needs and then make sure that you give it to your body to the best of your ability. Another thing for me is making sure I eat enough. Eat proper foods enough, and it also means for me that I don't eat unhealthy food very often. I mean, I do eat it and I have small things daily maybe, but not only eat unhealthy food or have a lot of it. So this is what works for me. And I think that's a big part of self-care, because your body is your temple. If your body doesn't work right, you cannot work right. So making sure your body is well rested, well fed, and you drink enough water, that's a good start. And then what also falls into self-care for me is making sure that I treat myself how I want to be treated. So Lisa Nichols always says, "For my yes to have value, my no has to be said." And at first I didn't understand it, because I thought, but if I like that person and they ask me to help, I want to help. But then I noticed, well, if I really don't have the time and I have to bend over backwards and it's really not gonna do anything good for me, it's actually better for myself to say, you know what, I'd love to help, but this time I just can't. And that this leads to two things. First of all, other people will value your yes more, because they don't take you for granted anymore, because they see, okay, she takes care of herself. But it also shows to other people how you treat yourself and how you respect yourself, so they know how to respect you. Yeah, so here self-care and self-respect are very intertwined. This also goes into relationships or work situations. So if you are in a work situation where you notice this job is really not good for my health, because I work in an industry where I have to stand a lot and it's really not doing any damage for my back, or I have to sit too much, or whatever it is for you, then self-care and self-respect also falls in line with going out and looking for a job that's better for yourself. And that's self-love, making sure that you are fine with what you do. It doesn't mean quit your job immediately and then end up on the street if you don't have any financial backup, but it means to make sure that you're taking care of yourself. It also makes sure that if you have friends who don't treat you well, that you don't hang out with them anymore. And you don't have to be bitchy about it or be mean. You can be very kind and just love them from a distance and say, you know, these people don't serve me right now, so I'm going to serve myself, and I'm going to surround myself with people who do serve me. And I don't mean serve me by literally doing anything I want or need, but just serve me by, I feel great when I'm with them, they respect me the way I want to be respected, we have fun situations, we have good time going out. And you can have friends for different things, but it's important that you find friends that support you and that are good for you, and that you don't hang around people who are you're like stumped on, or where they always say, oh my god, you're so stupid, to feel better, or they always compare themselves and like, you just don't level up with us, where you always feel better about them. Just leave the friendship. That's fine. Love them from a distance, be kind, but love them from a distance. Take care of yourself. And that kind of goes in line with the third big point that it has for me, and it's setting the standards I want to have. And this is for friendships, for relationships, for jobs. I think it's very important that you set standards. So what does that mean? That means you write down a list and make sure that you find out what's important to me. So for example, in a friendship, it's important that they text me too, or that they make time for me so that we can hang out once a week, once a month, whatever it is. But you just write down what your standards are there. What are your standards for work? My standards are that, for example, I get a salary of a certain amount of money, whatever it is. And then stick to these standards. Make sure you don't settle for anything less, because writing down the list is not enough. You have to make sure that you say no when people don't give you what they owe you, or what you want, sorry. That when people don't want to give you what you want according to your standards. So for example, if you say, okay, my ideal job has 30 hours of work week and I want to get paid $3,000 a month at least, and I want to have 15 days of vacation a year. And then you get a job offer where you get paid $2,000 a month, where you have to work 40 to 50 hours and where you have 5 vacation days a year. Don't settle. I mean, of course, I know there are situations with money where you have to settle, but generally don't settle. Respect your standards, live by them, and say, you know what, I'm going to find something that shows what I'm really worth. And this, in the end, can actually bring you really, really far, because if you find your own standards, you feel good about yourself. You feel good to say, you know what, I'd love to help you, but no, I can't today. If that's what you feel, say it. Be kind, do it in a nice way. But if you set your standards and you live by them, you're proud of yourself. Have you ever been in a situation where you said yes when you wanted to say no, and then afterwards, after already feeling bad, you kind of beat up for yourself in your mind because you said yes when you wanted to say no? So rewrite these stories. Create new stories, create better stories. Live by your standards. But the most important part, of course, is that you first set them and are very clear about them. So, well, this is all for today. If you liked my video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and I see you in the next video.